Hello, St. Peter's. Welcome back. We are in December now. Can you believe it? And boy, oh boy, we sure got a lot of snow, didn't we? We are virtual, but even I couldn't go into the library today because there was too much snow. So hopefully next Wednesday you'll see me in the library. Today I'm at home shoveling a lot of my snow. You're probably having a lot of fun playing. I hope I can get out there and make a snowman. So can you. So we are in week 13 of our back to school, our in school library series. And during this month of December, we're of course going to think about some special things we could do for the people we love at Christmas time. It's not always about just going to the store or ordering from Amazon. Maybe it's about some things you can do from your heart. Let's find out what happens in our story today, okay? All right, our friends are here. They are in a huddle. I think they're ready to go sledding. They really want to go outside. So we have Ralph, Daisy, Magic Monkey, and Joy is here, of course, with our jar of joy. We'll do that at the end. So do you have all your friends gathered around? All right, come on in. Let's get ready for our story. Let's turn up our ears so we're ready to listen. Turn off our mouths so we don't make a sound. Put your hands quietly in your lap. Take a nice big deep breath. Now we're ready for our story. This one is so cute. I think you're gonna like it. It's called One Snowy Night by Christina Butler and Tina McNaughton. And what's really cool is, if maybe you can hear it, his hat is actually fuzzy. So if you ever check this book out of the library, all through the book, the hat feels soft, just like a regular hat would. All right, do you know what kind of an animal that guy is? That's right, it's a hedgehog. Isn't he cute? I didn't have a hedgehog shirt, so I wore my penguins. They like to be outside in the snow. All right, here we go. One snowy night. The cold wind woke Little Hedgehog from his deep winter sleep. It blew his blanket of leaves high in the air, and he shivered in the snow. He tried to sleep again, but he was much too cold. Suddenly, something fell from the sky. I wonder what it is. Thud! Look. It says, "To Little Hedgehog, with love from Father Christmas." Who's Father Christmas? That's right, Santa. He got a present. It landed right in front of his nose. It was a present, and it had his name on it. Little Hedgehog opened the present as fast as he could. It was a red woolly hat, hedgehog size. He put it on at once. He pulled it on the back. He pulled it to the front. He pulled it to one side and then the other. So what's he trying to do? Trying to fit it? See the hedgehog, he's got kind of like those spinies on his head. So he's trying to pull them all around. That's a pretty nice hat. But it didn't matter how he stretched it to fit. His prickles got in the way every time. By now, the hat was much too big for Little Hedgehog. He took it off and stared at it until at last he had an idea. He gave the hat a shake and wrapped it up again. He ripped a piece off the label, the part with his name, and he wrote on the rest. Then he ran to Rabbit's house. Rabbit was out, so he left the present on his doorstep. What a nice idea! So the gift wasn't working for him, but he thought of someone who might be able to use it. He's pretty smart. It was snowing hard as Little Hedgehog tried to find his way back home. The snowflakes flew all around, and he wasn't sure which way to go. Oh dear, he said as he wandered around. I shouldn't have come out in this weather, but I know Rabbit will be happy to have a nice woolly hat to wear. He's a little bit lost. And who's over here? You see him? There's Rabbit. Heading back to his house, I'd say. Too much snow, said Rabbit, rushing home. He saw the present lying on his doorstep. What's this? He squeaked with delight, ripping off the paper. A woolly hat, he cried. For me? He put it on at once. He tried it with his ears inside. And then outside. He pulled it this way and he pulled it that way. But it didn't matter how he stretched it to fit. His ears got in the way every time. By now the hat was much, much bigger. It was much too big for a rabbit. So, Rabbit wrapped up the hat and wrote on a corner of the label. Then he went to visit Badger. The cold weather made Badger very grumpy. Merry Christmas, Badger, shouted Rabbit. Who's there? Growled Badger. Merry Christmas, repeated Rabbit, giving him the present. A Christmas present? Asked Badger. For me? So now this is the third person that's getting a little bit of joy from that one Christmas present. Badger put the hat on. He pulled it down over his ears. How about that? He said, looking in the mirror. Very nice, said Rabbit. What did you say? Asked Badger. Very nice, yelled Rabbit, hopping off. Don't you like it? Asked Badger, turning around. But Rabbit had gone. Badger took the hat off. I can't use this hat, he said. I can't hear a thing. Too bad. It's such a nice color. So, Badger wrapped up the present and marched off to Fox's house. He didn't use a label. He's hand delivering it. He doesn't really need to put the name on it, does he? Fox was going out exploring. Here you are, friend, said Badger merrily. A Christmas present, just for you. Christmas, snapped Fox, puzzled. Yes, Christmas, called Badger. Time to be nice to each other. And he trudged home. Maybe they're not really friends otherwise. That's even nicer. A hat, sneered Fox, opening the present. Why would I want a hat? Then he looked at the hat again. He made 2 holes in it for his ears and put it on. Satisfied, he went on his way. It's finally working for someone. He looks cute, doesn't he? I like it. The white fields twinkled in the moonlight. Fox sniffed around and found a small trail. He followed it this way and that way until suddenly it stopped. There was something under the snow. Fox dug and dug until he found a small hedgehog. It was cold and did not move. Poor little guy, said Fox. He put the hedgehog inside the red woolly hat and carried it to Rabbit's house. Look how cute. Rabbit and Badger were having supper. Look what I found in the snow, cried Fox, bursting in. They all looked into the hat. A hedgehog? Asked Badger. What's a hedgehog doing out at Christmas time? He should be fast asleep." "It's my little friend Hedgehog," cried Rabbit. "He must have gotten lost going home in the snow." Little Hedgehog opened his eyes. "Hello," he said sleepily. "Oh, this is such a lovely warm blanket." They never thought about that. A blanket. The friends all looked at each other. Rabbit grinned and Fox scratched his head. Said Badger. "I think this woolly hat is just right for little Hedgehog." "Merry Christmas, little Hedgehog," they all cheered. But little Hedgehog was fast asleep because it was so soft and warm. Merry Christmas. Wasn't that nice? So little Hedgehog is the one who got the present in the first place. When he couldn't get it to fit right, he didn't just throw it away. He didn't get mad that his present didn't work out for him. He thought and came up with an idea that maybe his friend Rabbit would like to have it because it would keep somebody warm. And then it didn't fit Rabbit's ears either, did it? He didn't get mad at little Hedgehog for giving him a gift he couldn't use. And he didn't just throw it away or toss it in the closet. He gave it to Badger, who was actually pretty grumpy before he got that present, wasn't he? And then he got the gift and he was friendly and happy. He did like it, but he couldn't hear when he had it on, so that was kind of annoying to him. So he didn't get mad at Rabbit. He thought of Fox. And it sounded like maybe he and Fox didn't always get along, but he still wanted his friend to have a good Christmas. And when Fox was wearing it and enjoying it. He liked that hat and it worked for him. But then when he found little Hedgehog in the snow, he didn't even hesitate to share that hat with little Hedgehog because he needed it to warm up, to get better. That's called a sacrifice, when you give something away that you really like, but you know it's going to help someone else. And in the end, who had a Merry Christmas? Just Hedgehog? Nope. They all had a Merry Christmas because they all thought of each other from that one gift. Isn't that amazing? So usually, even as a kid, it's hard for you to get Christmas presents, right? You don't really have money. And if you have to buy something at the store, you have to take one of your parents, and then it's not really a surprise, or you have to use their money. You know what would be even more special? If you made a present, or if you found something that either wasn't working for you, or you thought someone else might enjoy it even more or need it even more, you could give them that. Maybe you have some books or toys that you've already read or you've played with, and you have some little brothers and sisters that would really love to use those things because you've already seen them and played with them. Maybe you could wrap those up and it would be special. It doesn't have to be new. It would be special because it's coming from your heart, right? So I thought, what's something that we could make, that anybody could make, and you have it at home, and you can use it for decorations, or you can use them as special gifts. And I know you guys love to make these. Many of you already know how, but I'm going to show you how to make them with other things too. I'm talking about snowflakes, right? Now I made some pretty big snowflakes because I thought a big snowflake you could use as a Christmas card or a Christmas gift. Okay, you could either put a piece of yarn or ribbon on there to hang them up in the window, or you could just tape them onto the window. I used white paper, just regular old white paper. But then I thought, sometimes I have wrapping paper left over, and sometimes the ends get crinkly and you don't really want to put that on a present. So I made a couple of snowflakes out of old wrapping paper. And it could be any design, right? You could even, then it's kind of cool because it has a back. The back is white and the front is all colorful. Would you like me to remind you how to make snowflakes, or even show you for those of you who don't know how? Let me show you with my wrapping paper. So I cut it into just squares. This is a really big square. This would make a pretty big snowflake. It's even bigger than the one I have. So you might want snowflakes of different sizes. I would cut this one in half, and then let's cut it in half again. Now, this is a square, right? You can make a square snowflake. That's what I did here. Or you can cut the edges to make it round. So you can either go ahead and just cut out a circle, but sometimes that gets tricky because then you keep cutting smaller and smaller to make it round. The one thing I want to remind you of is it doesn't have to be a perfect circle. Mine weren't perfect circles, but they made pretty cool snowflakes. So here's a little trick that they use in kindergarten to learn how to cut some circles without cutting all the paper. You're going to cut the four corners just at an angle like that. 1, 2, turn it again, turn it again. See that? It's close to a circle now, right? It's kind of like an octagon. Then you're going to snip these little points right here. You're just going to snip it off because that will smooth out the edges a little bit. Snip it all the way around and you'll see how close. Don't worry, I have a tray under me so it's catching all my scraps. You'll see how close to a circle that is now, right? Now let's use it. So we're going to fold it in half. Doesn't have to be any special way, just fold it in half. And then fold it in half again. Now I always like to fold it in half 3 times, at least 3 times. 2 times you don't really get enough holes in your snowflake. So it's gonna, if you're doing a circle snowflake, it's gonna look like a little piece of pizza or an ice cream cone, right? So here's the folded edge. We talk a lot about the folded edge, right? We can't cut this whole thing off or else you're going to end up with 2 pieces and it won't be a whole snowflake. So you can cut some of it off, but you can't cut the whole thing. So you can decide if you want a hole in the middle of your snowflake, you would cut the bottom tip off. If you want your snowflake to be solid in the middle and no hole, don't cut it off, all right? So for this one, let's just leave it how it is, okay? So now at the top, you can do anything you want. You can cut little triangles, snip and snip, right? You can make like a curvy curve, like that. The edge that opens, you can do the same thing, anything that you would like. You could cut a square out of it, so you go all the way around, chomp, 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 right? Or you could cut a tiny, tiny triangle. Oops. Tiny, tiny triangle. Sometimes they don't come out, so you just gotta snip again. Then this is the edge that we don't want to cut everything off, but maybe you want to cut a little bit. So let's just do one curvy curve. Snip it off. Then this is the exciting part. You open it up very carefully because you don't want to rip it. If you try to open it too fast, sometimes it gets caught on each other. And now you get to see what all of those little snips you did make. Look at that. 2 sides. Now, does this snowflake look like this snowflake? Nope. No matter how many times you do it, you're probably not going to get the same type of snowflake. So let me show you how, if you're going to do it on a piece of paper like this. I'm just going to show you one thing that's a little bit different. So I'm going to cut it in half again. I folded it so I could kind of see where half was. And this time, instead of cutting the snip, 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 let's just cut a circle out. I'm going to show you how it doesn't have to be perfect. If you want a round snowflake, you're just going to try to make it kind of big. And actually, if you want it to be small, out of this, I can make this one. And then don't throw this scrap away. Use this scrap to make a smaller snowflake. So they start out looking like snowballs, right? So now, if you really want a lot of things in your snowflake, you need to fold it 4 times. It gets a little tricky. I know the sun's starting to shine on my shoulder, but that's okay. That means it's a beautiful sunny day outside. So I folded it once, twice, 3 times. It's getting really tight. I'm gonna try to fold it 1 more time. Now, it's gonna be really hard to cut. So we're just gonna do a couple. I'm gonna snip off the bottom so we have a hole in the middle. I'm gonna snip off a big chunk on this side because I wanna see what that makes it look like. And then over here on the folded edge, I'm just gonna do a triangle. If you get the scissors, you have to get the scissors all the way down so you can cut it because it's pretty tight. Now, do I want to do anything else? I think I'm gonna keep it just like that. So I only made like 4 snips. Let's see, because I folded it 4 times, how many things we will see. Whoops. Look at that. It has more spikes around it than the ones I only folded a couple times. Pretty neat, right? So go ahead and experiment. Some of them might not work out. If you only want to fold it 2 times for the little ones, that's okay. And you can make curvies, you can make little little chunks, whatever you want to do. It's going to turn out beautiful every single time. What a great gift. You could make a whole blizzard of snowflakes and put them in a box and then have your parents, your grandparents open them up and tell them that was from your heart. You made them this gift. They'll love it. This little tiny one. See? Easy as pie. All right, team. What do you say we spread some joy? You know what I'm going to do? Come here, Joy. I'm going to come over here with Joy. We're going to spin a little bit because it was too sunny over there, wasn't it? That's all right. We can work with it. I just wanted you to be able to see me now. We were seeing the snowflakes before, so it was okay. All right, how are we going to spread some joy today, Joy? I'm excited. Here we go. Oh my goodness, this is from Delaney. She's going to love it. It says, sing to someone. How do you spread joy? You can sing to someone. You could sing, Frosty the Snowman was a jolly, happy soul with a corncob pipe and a button nose and 2 eyes made out of coal. That's a good one to sing if you're outside building your snowman. What a fun way to make snow time fun, even more fun. So go ahead and sing a song to someone. We've talked about this before. If you start singing, they just might start singing along. And even if they don't feel like singing along, they're going to smile from hearing you sing a song. What a fun way to spread joy. Okay, boys and girls, think about how you can make someone's Christmas special without spending any money and making it a surprise. Make sure it comes from your heart. Something you already have, something you're going to create. You guys are really creative. You could probably come up with even more ideas than I can. If you have any really good ideas, let me know because I want to try to do those too, okay? All right, but don't forget to go play in that snow because it might not last too long and then we'll have to wait for the next snow, right? So go sledding, go have a snowball fight, and maybe go help whoever has to shovel the driveway because that's what I did yesterday. I got a little help from my neighbor and it was amazing. However you do it, make sure you put your hat on, get your boots on, go outside and have some fun in the snow. So until next time, boys and girls, keep spreading your joy.